Yo, we're back. Weekend wrap is back. Week 6 of the weekend wrap. This week, it's an FA Cup themed weekend wrap. And not only is it FA Cup themed, it's the VAR themed weekend wrap as well. We spoke about VAR a little bit before, but we're going to speak about it a lot more today because it affected a Manchester United game. But we're also looking at the FA Cup, the last 8 draw, and much more as well. Answering your questions too here on the weekend wrap. We got Real Madrid on in the background. They're winning 4-2. Sensio's just scored a banger, as has Ronnie. And Dean's in the house. Dean, how you doing?
Yeah, good man. I had a good weekend, innit?
You had a good weekend. Dean's world's just been rocked. So his, he's a different man now. So we'll get to see. If you're following him on Twitter, you would have seen that as well. His Twitter is below his head right now, so follow him on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Sam says Adam's going to tear VAR a new one. You know it. It's going to happen today. Jesse Taylor says, let's start. We've started. Let me tell the people in the comments to refresh if they've not got it. But yeah, we're live now. Weekend wrap. The last 8 draw has been made as well. Have you seen the full draw, Dean?
Yeah.
For yous that haven't, it's Manchester United against Brighton, Leicester against Chelsea, Sheffield or Swansea against Rochdale or Spurs. Spurs drew today, Rochdale with a late goal. Wigan or City, they play tomorrow against Southampton. So that's the last 8 draw. Potentially United, Chelsea, Tottenham, City in the last 4. What you made of the action over the weekend, Dean? Which games did you watch?
I watched the United game. I watched I watched the Spurs game up to 80 minutes, and then.
So you missed most of the action.
Yeah, just my luck in it. I did see bits on Match of the Day as well, so I seen the rest of the ties. There wasn't really any standout ties, so there was
Brighton, Coventry. What was that striker called again? Latolia.
I'm not too sure.
He bagged a goal and an assist on his debut. Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah.
Giroud finally scored. What have you made of him being at Chelsea?
For me, I think it was a bad move for Arsenal. I mean, they don't do much business, but when they do, to me, he changes. He's a different style of striker, and I think he's very good at what he does, which is like he'll just stand up at the back post, win headers. He baffles me why Arsenal sold him, but I think it's good business by Chelsea, to be honest. I think I seen him link up with Hazard in the game prior to that as well. So I think he does a job in it, especially for the 18 million. I think that's in this day's market.
It's a steal.
It's kind of a snip that is.
Yeah, definitely. And Arsenal have lost some goals there as well. Ross and a few others have noticed the NWO's t-shirt already. Just a moment. It didn't even take long for that to happen, but it definitely happened. Dele Alli with the dive. Did you see the foul on Dele Alli? Oh, you missed the second goal.
Nah, I've seen the replay on it.
Okay.
But I only seen it.
Was it a dive?
To me, it looks like he's going down. I think, obviously, I don't know what other people.
He's anticipated the challenge, in it.
Yeah, I think it's part of the game. At the same time, there is you do have to kind of anticipate fouls, because at the same time, there's certain times when people tackle you, and it's like if your leg's planted, you know what I'm saying, it can be a nasty one. Whereas if you're just anticipating it, it's less impact on yourself. You obviously just get the same outcome. But I thought it was like he was going down, but he's always getting a penalty there, I think.
Yeah, I do think he went down first before the action came in, it was Spurs 2, Rochdale 2. So Chelsea obviously went through pretty easy. Drew got his first goal. Then obviously we had the United and that. But today, Spurs 2, Rochdale 2. Do you think Pochettino is undermining Spurs in the cups by just not picking full strength sides?
Nah, when I was watching the game, they was saying that because obviously they're losing at half time, and it's like obviously you can go there and obviously play your strongest team and obviously go and look to get the win. It's still not guaranteed, but obviously you can have a stronger chance. But at the same time, if you're Spurs and you're going to Rochdale, anyone who's in their squad, you should be better than them, really, and you should be better than them on your day. So when he's putting them out, obviously I think he's picking a team who should win the game. They're not doing that, and obviously brings them on. But at the same time, I think having people.
Would you rather
off the bench,
keep him on, wrap him up after it's 2-0 up?
Nah, it's like we've gone off topic. But it's like with Mourinho, the team that he picked. I think it's just a team that's good enough to win the game. Like you could have played a strongest strength team, but if you can win with the team you've just played, it's more beneficial because your top players do get a rest, and you can. Certain places in the league will be decided on management and which managers was able to keep their best players fresh.
But Spurs are 5th.
Yeah.
Spurs ain't going for the title. They're unlikely to win the Champions League.
No,
they're in a very strong position in the Champions League.
They've got to get top 4.
But
they have to
don't they need trophies to keep the players? We mentioned Dele Alli. Did he dive? Did he not? Nitesh says he thinks it was a dive. There was an Arsenal fan who said it didn't dive. Alex Rudd, who said he made a meal of it, but he didn't dive. Ali's reputation doesn't help him, says Nitesh, but it was a dive. And a few others saying it's a dive. But Dele Alli, for example, Harry Kane, for example, don't they need trophies to stick around? Alderweireld, his contract's ticking down. If you're just getting top 4, getting Champions League, they can move to a club that's getting Champions League and winning trophies.
But I think the things with, obviously, some people may disagree, but I think to say, for example, foreign players like Alderweireld, I think if he's in England, he wants to be in London. I don't know, like, and I think obviously they can offer. So it's like I think if he can get the right money, I think he stays. Like, to be honest, I don't think I can't see him leaving. Me personally, I can't see him leaving.
United should go for him, by the way. His contract's ticking down.
He's all look. He's a
Alderweireld, Bay.
But we've
smashed that out of my ultimate team. It's mint.
I think we need to address the midfield more than as bad as obviously. Again, I think like unless like if Lindelof needs to obviously step up, and obviously we've got Bailly back, so
I'm hoping we have to replace 1 or 2 in the summer in defence.
But that'll be obviously on our buy and sell. Like, you know what I'm saying, we need to get some out. So like, you know, let's small.
But yeah, trophies. Do Spurs need to win a trophy either this season or next season? Is the FA Cup not one of the best? Look at the Carling Cup. They took that for granted. Got knocked out. Like, I can't understand the arrogance that Spurs have. They're not a team that wins trophies to be throwing trophies away. I
think Pochettino needs to win something. As much like so, and obviously he's the manager of Spurs. So I think he needs to kind of win something to kind of announce himself. Because as good as he is doing with Spurs, if you're not winning anything, and I think he knows that, like he's not from this country, so I think he knows that he needs to win things to get noticed, to get the big jobs. Like there's talk of like Madrid interested in him. So are they gonna take you if you've never won anything? I don't know. So I think that with a lot of managers now, like they're trying to build their own reputation. So I think it's a missed opportunity if Spurs.
Because I think winning trophies breeds a winning mentality as well. You look at all the best sides over the years; their first trophies normally, like you look at United's trophy in 05, 06, we won the League Cup, and that team there went on and won loads of trophies, and it was kind of like a taster for them. I feel like it can always be a building block to other things, and it's just. I don't know. I'd be frustrated if I was a Spurs fan. I'm obviously not a Spurs fan, so I don't give a shit.
Mourinho, that's the one reason why I really rate Mourinho is because he's always done it. For example, in England with the League Cup, which a lot of people, saying it's like it's Mickey Mouse Cup or whatever. It's not the biggest competition, but he even did it with United first season. Get the Carling Cup or whatever, the League Cup, whatever they're calling it nowadays. And it's like obviously it does breed a win, and it showed. Obviously, we won the Europa after that. He's done. Obviously, he did it with Chelsea, like. When he first came in,
takes the pressure off him as well.
Yeah, again, it's like because he can say, "Well, I've got your cup there, and there's some silverware."
If he gets sacked, he's like, "Huh? I want a trophy. You get me? You can't sack me." And I think obviously, I'm not suggesting Pochettino will be up for sack if he doesn't win a trophy, but it does buy managers time. Jesse says Tottenham are overhyped. Our Spurs are overhyped. Do you think they'll win a serious trophy?
They beat Madrid at home. They beat Madrid at home. They've beat us. They beat top teams, and it's like so on the day. Obviously, I think any team in the Premiership can beat anyone. But Spurs do have a good team. I just don't think they're consistent enough, and I think that's
the draw with the West Broms at home and
I
them
think
kind of teams there, and it's out. They drop a lot of stupid points.
Yeah, but I think that comes down to like with as good as like Dele Alli is. If you like, I just think he's also very inconsistent. Like I was having a conversation.
He's very young though; it's to be expected.
Yeah, but the way people talk about him, like he's big time Charlie or whatever, and it's like to me, I was having a conversation with someone before, and it's like if you compare Lingard and Dele Alli, it's like Lingard doesn't really have kind of the reputation of a Dele Alli, but if you actually look at his performances and statistics,
I
think they're arguably on the same
they are
level,
better this season.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, they're better this season. In terms of actual play, like, why is Dele Alli over Lingard? I don't think he is.
I think
like,
it's the age factor and the London factor. Like the London Spurs get sucked off so hard, it's unbelievable. Like if Jose had made 11 changes to an FA Cup team and drew 2-2 at Rochdale, he would have been getting blasted in the media right now. Obviously, there's different standards that come in Man United and Spurs, and Jose Mourinho and Pochettino, but that's because Jose has won trophies.
I think at the same time, just to add to your point, it's like, for me, I think that's good. It'd be good management, because if you can get away with the win with a weaker team, like I say, your team's going to be better off. But some managers will have a go, and I think that's one thing I personally like about Pochettino. It's like he will try that. Like, he's not going in ultra safe, like playing his best. Because if he'd have played his best team and he wins, to be honest, if I'd have flicked that game on,
would he win the league with United's team?
Mourinho's the best man for the job. I can't. People keep. I've been speaking like with Ranson, and it's like he's talking about like with different managers, etc.
Yeah.
And it's like Pochettino, as good as he is, like from the outside, I think he's, again, going back to this point about winning FA Cup, he hasn't got the pressures of what Mourinho's got at United, where it's like, you kind of have to be successful. We need trophies. We can't just be finishing top 4 is not good enough for us. And it's like, him at Spurs, he's been afforded this, like, you don't really have to win anything. You're going to keep your job. We're going to keep increasing your money, because obviously now we're not giving you that much money to play with, and obviously you're doing quite well. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Pochettino, for me, he's not working under big pressure. He's not winning anything. Whereas, so like he's been afforded where it's like he can play this attractive football or whatever, and he's had time to build
and develop young players.
He has a lot more time and a lot less pressure. Whereas, like, going back to Mourinho, it's like you're told you need to be successful now, and it's like, that's why I don't like when
even some of their players would crumble under the pressure of play for Man United.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you know, like, for example, you put Eric Dyer in the United team as a youngster, probably not as good as he is now. Potentially, because of the pressures of playing for Man United.
You have to. It's a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think, like I said, that's what I kind of going off the point. But it's like comparing Pochettino. You're saying about winning the league. I don't think he could. I think Mourinho, like I say, is by far the best man for the job, because he may not do it the most attractive way, but he will, like, he's got an effective style. So,
are you happy with the style? Off topic.
For me, when obviously not last season, before Pep came in and I heard City was getting Pep, I was just thinking, with all the money that City have got, and they've basically got the old Barcelona infrastructure behind the scenes now, and then they put Pep in control, and he's got an open checkbook. Who's gonna counteract? Who's the person who's gonna counteract that? Because really, like, if you look at it, and it's like City's squad has been better than United's for time. In reality, like, if you actually look player for player,
even probably when Fergie won the league.
Yeah, we was kind of punching above our weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the talent that they had in it.
Because they had like, when we signed Van Persie, they signed like Nasri, and they had Aguero's, and like, they had a proper mad team. Their midfield, we were still playing Cleverley and Anderson. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like when that was happening, I was thinking, so you've got all this money coming in, you got Pep now coming. Obviously, Pep is, I think, with money and obviously a good set of players, he's going to be a good manager. And it's like, I was thinking, who's the only person who's going to be able to counteract that? Because really, we haven't just got as much money as them. They've recruited better than us over the last, like, 7 years, I'd say. And obviously now, who's the only person who's going to be able to get us to where we need to go to from the position we was under Van Gaal and that awful football? And Mourinho's the only man who can do that. And
that's why, like, I was one of them people that never wanted Mourinho, and then at that point it was kind of like, we need Mourinho now. He needed us too, because he had his reputation had fallen after Chelsea, and like, I think he had gone through a bad period. We had gone through a bad period, and I think it was just kind of like, cool, we need each other at this point.
I disagree. I think that when Mourinho was talked about coming to United, Madrid were talking about getting him
again.
They was talking about getting him back in, and it's like, I think that's why it's like they announced it straight away. Like, you know, when we won the FA Cup, so I'm sure they had a pre-contact agreement with him, like from the January or something. Like, you know, like they had an option on him or something, or they had to pay him a certain amount of money if they didn't approach him or whatever. So I think, again, like just going back to his style of football, it's not the more. Well, to be honest, he did play. He does score goals. Like, you look at the Madrid team that he controlled.
Hasn't he got the high scoring? City will beat it this year.
Yeah,
hasn't he got the highest scoring record in the Premier League and La Liga?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even when he was, at that time I wasn't a big fan, but it's like when you look back at that Chelsea team he had, the 04-05 team, and when he had Robin and Duff, Drogba, like, and it's like he has kind of tried to replicate the same thing, like so.
We have got. Good
I think it will come good.
I think once you start winning, the football looks better in it as well, because once you're in a winning position, once you've got a better defence and a better midfield, those attacking players are going to look better as a result because they've got a better foundation to build from. Anyway, moving away from Manchester United, we're talking about Spurs. We spoke briefly about Chelsea, Conte getting through 4-0. Brighton, Coventry, the draws happened. We're going on to VAR now, not United as such, but VAR. The big topic of the day. So get your thoughts in on VAR in the comments. Get liking the video and get subscribing as well, yeah. Joel Carter's already commented and he says even BT didn't know what was going on and they were the broadcasters for the whole thing. Firstly, do you think the VAR got the decision right in the end?
For me, based on what the laws are of football, they technically got it right from what it says, from what I've seen, and it's because like now previously it's like. They would give the advantage to the attacker, so it's like if you're slightly bit offside, the attacking player can get a blind. But it's like now that doesn't happen, and there's no like daylight rule what there used to be.
Daylight.
So I think obviously with the actual straight line, I think you know what I'm saying. Like I think it is that, but like it's fine. I'm just not a big fan of it, to be honest.
I felt as well when Mata was moving in that position, he was moving across the line, like his foot was going across his body to come back, like he wasn't gaining an advantage from that point. He wasn't offside, I don't feel, but also I felt like why was VAR getting involved? Like the referee and linesman have made a decision, they haven't had any doubt in their mind. It isn't a clear and obvious as they state, although I believe clear and obvious doesn't apply to offside because it's either on or off. But then, even if the decision is right, what the fuck's with these wobbly lines? What's going on there? And it took how long did it take? 3 minutes to make the decision, but to actually get decent images, it took 8 minutes.
Yeah.
How is that right? Like you've got one job. Yeah. You've literally got one job, and it's rewinding a video at a certain point. Like, why are the lines wobbly? Haven't they just got a permanent thing that they can just place on an image of straight lines? Who needs to hand draw these lines out? What the fuck's going on?
The thing that makes me laugh, it's like with like anything nowadays, if you have a new product or something, you have like a beta test of it, or you know, like it's like games nowadays. They'll put a beta version out of a game,
which is pretty much what this is, right?
Yeah, and it's like, how come you've not did the beta version on somewhere else that's not got big consequences or whatever if you make wrong decisions? It's like you can't put that in the FA Cup.
In the FA Cup.
That's just like, what? Like even that kind of, to me, it's like it devalues the FA Cup.
But they say the clubs are devaluing it, aren't they? Devaluing it by doing this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I'm like, it's like the FA Cup, and it's like you're making your own product worse, and it's like how are you putting this out there? Like this is a good product if like you've got some technology involved, and it's messing up the game. Like obviously it didn't affect us winning the game, but it's like if it did, like what happens? What happens then? Like could we cool with that?
You very could have, because at 1-0, I thought they were in the game as well. If that goal doesn't count and they come out and score the first goal in the second half, tables are turning and it could very much change. What if something like that happens in an FA Cup final? That's the only goal of a game. That's what we're setting ourselves up for at the moment. And this VAR, whether you want, I don't think you should use it yet. But okay, I'll put my opinion to the side for that. If you're gonna use it, make sure it's right. And even if you are testing it, how can you get it so wrong?
Yeah, the thing that annoys me is with it, it's like the decision on the other day, like you said, the referee didn't have any problems with it. The linesman didn't. But then this man, they did suggest where this guy's based or whatever, in terms of who's actually making the decision. But it's like, okay, so like, what if, for example, like, I know they're gonna say all of them are impartial or whatever, the referees, but it's like, what if you've got a man watching a game who don't like a certain team, and it's like, I can just simply influence this game. The ref has no option but to listen to me, and neither does the linesman, so it doesn't even, you know what I'm saying? I just think it's like, it's even more open now for the game.
Should the referee, should we, okay, so if we're going to change how we, by the way, Darren asks, is it 3-2 Madrid now? It's 5-3 Madrid, you've missed a hell of a game. But if, should it be up to the ref there to say, yo, I wasn't sure about that, can the VAR check it, rather than them just interrupt and pause the game?
Yo, the way I see it is, like, if the ref didn't see it, then, yo, like, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Because they've saw it, because the linesman's kept his flag now.
Yeah. It's just Mickey Mouse, I think. Like, I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how they're putting this in the competition and just completely just devaluing the FA Cup for what it is, in my opinion. Like I said, you should have had this done put this in the Championship for a couple of seasons. To be honest, I don't think
even that was too valuable.
No, yeah, like anywhere
just do something friendly behind closed doors, or can't you test it in under 23 Premier League then? Or something, you know, I know it's probably then devaluing, it's not devaluing theirs, but okay, they will say you've got to do it at stadiums, which we're going to, you know, we've got to test facilities, we've got to test this, that, the infrastructure, TV, we've got to, but I just don't think, I think it just changes the whole game. I don't want it. Do you want it?
No, my thing is, I think the main thing that this is showing me over the weekend is the fact that with subjective things, in terms of things that people have opinions on, I don't think you can use technology for that, because they're saying it's offside, but everyone else is seeing it as onside, and it's like, so I don't think with like goal line technology, it is or it isn't a goal. With offsides and my interpretation of the law is this, and because that's all it's like everyone, the interpretation of, and it's like the TV,
it's like a lawsuit then.
Yeah, and it's it's like this game should be quite simple. Like, to me, for me, it should be quite simple. I think always as well, I want to see attacking football. So just as a fan, this is the thing I think as well. It's like, I don't know if fans can put pressure on, like, say, the Premier League and the FA or whatever, but I think they should be encouraging more laws now, because they change them that often for more attacking play. Like, I want to see. I don't want to see, like, to me, if that's like, that's not offside. Like, if I'm playing, like, you can't be having that final line and say it's offside for me. Like, come on, man. Like, this, like, and it's a good goal as well. And it's
JUAN Mata's knee. What's he gonna do with that?
And it's like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not. To be honest, even if that happens against us, if they score and that's offside, obviously, if they score, I'll be like, yeah, that's nice. We've got away with it. But to be honest, you can't say, no, that's not a goal.
Even David Wagner was like, I didn't like
saying.
that, and he had the benefit of that.
It's like, it's crazy, and it's like with people, like, I think the fans should, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, we should, like, people should be arguing for more attacking rules and that. You know,
and people say fans should be thought of in the stadium in terms of screens and that, but even that wouldn't, like, you know, like for cricket and that, when it's like, oh, is it going to be in or out, and like, I can understand the joy behind that or the fun behind that, but there's no joy or fun behind like, there's no joy or fun behind.
I think no, like, we're going to cricket and but they'll call for the TV and stuff like that. It's like it's on certain calls right now, and I think the captain has to speak to the umpire or something to get it checked and stuff, and they only have a certain amount. And I think that kind of football should be kind of like that if we are to use it, where you can, if, for example, like I say, if the ref don't say nothing, the linesman is saying it, why is VR? If they're calling for it, then I can see your point, but I
don't think it should ever go to a challenges thing. If you're going to use VAR, you use it. You don't use a challenge system, because that's unfair. You could have had 3 genuine times, used it, and then run out of challenges, and now you've got a genuine occasion where you need it again, and it's like, that's not fair. Like, it should either be there or not, but I don't think it should be there. And if it is going to be there, you have to sort that shit out. Like, it has to be quicker.
The one thing I was going to say is, it made me laugh when I was watching the game. It's like, you know, when Smalling is clumsy, man.
What, when he took out Lindelof?
When he handballed it and that. He's handballed it, or whatever, he's hit his hand in it. It's not handball. hit his hand or whatever. And obviously, I'm carrying on watching the game. It's like, oh yeah, they're currently reviewing the handball, and it's like, but we're still playing. We're still playing. And it's like, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking we're playing and we're safe and we got the ball. I'm thinking he could call a penalty any second now because your man's still reviewing.
I
it.
thought
It's
that
like,
at a point when
it's crazy. Like, come on.
They won. There was something happened, and then they won a corner, and it was just before half time, and I thought, that was never a foul, but if they score from this, are they now going to VAR that foul?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, where does the interruption of VAR come in? Because they say, okay, it's only for goal decisions. So, if you get a winner free kick in your half, but it's not a free kick and you've dived, and then they boot that up, either flicks it on, scores. Are you going to pull that? Like, what happens? When does the VAR kick in?
I think it's a can of worms that they've opened. That's what I think, to be honest, the best thing to do is it'd be embarrassing for them to say like, oh, we're taking VAR out. But to be honest, what's happened this weekend, I would just scrap it. Like, I was thinking at the time when I was watching,
call
like,
it all up.
If VAR as a company, it's like if you had shares in that company, your stocks just plummeted. Them ones. It's like, so I don't know. Me personally, they should take it. They should just take it out of the game because. As much as I want.
They have it in Italy at the moment, and I don't watch enough Italian. I've watched a bit, and Germany they have it in a lot, and they seem to be fine with it. But then I don't know is anyone from Germany or Italy in the house that can comment on what they think of VAR if they're from there.
I think just touching back on VAR, I'm just imagine this as a young kid playing football, you're playing football for your school or whatever level in it, you're playing football, and it's like you could lose a game, say, but like they score a goal and there's a foul in the build-up, and obviously, but they scored a goal, and it's like, but you could just come off the pitch and say, well, now you see, like if it was in real, I didn't actually lose because in real football in the Premiership, what would have happened was VAR would have got involved. It's like you could never actually emulate playing an actual game of football. You can't emulate playing the game of football now.
But you can't really with goal line technology.
Yeah, like that's.
But then that's factual, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like it either is or isn't a goal. But it's like with this. All this subjective, opinionated stuff, it's crazy because, like I say, like how you can never really emulate football, really. Then
Alex Rudd say he thinks, or she thinks they're the only pro VAR person here. Can you let us know why you're pro VAR, please?
The game's it's longing out the game. Man. Come on, man. Look, the thing is, as a paint, look, when you go to the games as well, there's not. When you actually break down the amount of time the ball's actually in playing football, it's not that. It's not that long.
I think there's
a 90-minute game.
Recently.
That's what I'm saying. It's about 60 minutes and a 90-minute game or something. So like, this is just, and it ruined the atmosphere is dead. Like,
and also like. Yesterday there was images of Mata celebrating that goal. Like, can you imagine in the future, like, look at this picture of Mata celebrating? Yeah, but that goal there weren't given because VAR interrupted 3 minutes later and it got cancelled. Yeah, but they celebrated. Yeah, but the scoreboard changed for a hot second. Like, it's just, it's all weird, man. I don't like it. Mate, I'm not even one of those guys that hates change yet because I can adapt to change if it's necessary. I just don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like a big part of football is debate and opinion and controversy. And although you don't want people just blatantly cheating or whatever like that, like, you'd like to think there's never really been any, obviously, like, hand of God and Thierry Henry and all, but who cares? And it shit happens.
I think that comes with football, and you can't. Like I say, like, I want. Obviously, you want to win, and I think the best team should win, but because then it's how far do you go with this? All this like kind of policing of the game.
And people can bend the rules of VAR now. Like, I remember a penalty being given, and I don't even think, like, I think it was for Liverpool in their FA Cup game, and Salah got, like, touched and he just dropped. And it was like, did he just drop because he knew his hand was on him? It looks like a penalty. The ref ain't going to see this, but VAR is going to see this. So if I drop now, it's a penalty. It looks like a penalty, but it's not a penalty. Like,
yeah, but that's what I think now. It's like, again, it's kind of clever to be kind of cunning in the game, like kind of like some people. It's kind of being a cheat, and it's like, again, like kind of you're saying, it's like, and I don't. One thing I hate is when penalties get given at corners and stuff like that. You know, where it's like I was holding, or that's because it is a physical game. Like, people are gonna hold you, and it's like
there's a certain limit.
that's what I'm saying. As long as you're not obviously but it's like holding, proper holding. But like I think like I say, you can just get to over policing the game.
Yeah.
And it's like penalty here, penalty there. Oh, nah, this goal doesn't stand, and it's just like to me, I think it as an entertainment from entertainment perspective, I think it's bad. It's just bad.
But then they only think of. They don't think of the 50, 70,000 people, like there's millions of people watching around the world, innit? And if they think VAR now adds something to that in entertainment purposes, value.
At the moment, it is because sorry to quote me, it's like it's comedy at the minute. Like it's comedy, like
especially those lines. Can you explain those lines?
When I was watching the game, yeah, I'm thinking, is it me, or am I seeing some wiggly lines?
There's like aerial at the back.
That's what I was thinking. What is going? What is it me? And then I'm looking at the lines on the pitch and I'm thinking, it's nowhere.
For the people at home,
Yo.
This is the lines. These are the lines, guys. This is what we're looking at right now. Look, I can see why Matt has been given offside. Yeah, I don't think it's offside because I think he's in. If
that's offside, it's like
because look, his legs coming across his body. It's not going forward. It's coming across. Like, look how his body shape is, and he's asking for it inside, and he's running in. Like, that was a goal, but that's how it looks. That is awful. And do you really think they were lying when they said they were telling the truth when they said that? That's not the lines they use. They use straight lines, which we got about 10 minutes later.
No, I think they didn't use them because, to be honest, I don't know where does that come
You think
from?
they used this one, the new line?
Yeah, like 100%. I think after obviously they're saying now, like obviously now that they've made the mistake, I think obviously they're trying to. It's a PR thing, isn't it? Like where they're obviously just gonna say, yeah, we had this other copy, but we happen to give you this one with the wiggly lines. Like obviously, like
because even BT were like,
what the fuck? I'm saying.
That ain't ours.
That's what I'm saying. Some people will lap it up, and you know what I'm saying, but come on, man. Like,
who do you think was in the booth? VAR booth? What's your money on? Mine's on Randy Marsh.
I don't even know, man. Like,
Donald Trump.
Someone fucking, Stevie Wonder or something. Like, yo, I don't even know, man. Faye Wap or something, like, yo.
Shit.
Trust me.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't even know.
Yeah, Webby said it right. A 2-year-old drew those. Webby was at the game. Where's he seeing those lines, bro? That's what I
he went in the box.
He's in director's box with Fergie or something mad like that. Webby gets where water wouldn't, trust me. When did we discuss midfield options for the summer? That's a United-based show, that is. Who do you think the favourites for the FA Cup are? I know it's pretty open at the moment. We've got Manchester City who are focusing pretty much. They've got Premier League, they've got Champions League, they've got FA Cup, they've got League Cup final coming up. Can City do it? If they did it, it'd become part of a domestic treble if they win the League Cup. Chelsea, could Conte rescue his season? United, could they get another bit of silverware? Spurs are still in it. We spoke about them winning trophies. Or could it be a shocker? Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea, Rochdale.
I don't know.
Brighton.
I think obviously the City have to be the first. As bad as it sounds, on it, City have to be the favourites because just because they're so far ahead in the league, the fact that they can afford to rest players for
they've got Southampton if they beat Wigan at home. By the way,
that's a winnable fixture. That's probably a winnable fixture this week. Well, obviously I ain't gonna underestimate Southampton, but they could just put some of their squad players and turn them over. To be honest, like and look at what
we could do the same with Brighton. To be fair,
for real.
Obviously getting to the semi-finals. What did you make of the draw, United Brighton? Were you happy with that? Obviously, did you want to? I fancied, Joe. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't have minded City or Chelsea at home. At home, like when I saw us come out at home, then I was like, because we can beat like at home. We more likely gonna beat. Like I'd say we're 70%, maybe against City 60%, but against Spurs we'd beat Spurs at Old Trafford. Against Chelsea, we beat Chelsea. Like I wouldn't have minded having the opportunity to, but away from home, I didn't want any of them teams. Like didn't.
I just think when I was looking at the draw, I was happy with Brighton because although I think obviously we give them a good game, City or Chelsea say, but I think because we've dropped points and I think we just need to get to winning games, and it's like I just want a fixture where we can comfortably say we can go and win that. Just maybe so we can build up
players.
Yeah, well, potentially, or like even just win that, just build more momentum, more confidence for rolling into the next games. And to be honest, I think nowadays the way with like the media is like the way Sky cover it, obviously and BT, it's like if we do have City, say it's Mourinho against Pep again, and it's another opportunity. Like, you've got City so many times before the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I think Mourinho kind of we just want to focus on winning games. I don't think we need the kind of circus of if we get Chelsea, what do you think is gonna happen if we draw Chelsea? And like obviously Conte is kind of getting some stick down there, and it's like if Jose turns up, obviously he's gonna want to go there and win. And it's just going to be it's going to be a circus that obviously they'll happily entertain. Like they'll try and goad Jose. Because at the same time, I think, like I say, Jose,
we got Chelsea this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a big weekend coming up. It was the start of a big week against Huddersfield. I felt like that was a difficult game. I know Huddersfield not as competitive in the FA Cup as they are in the league because the league's their priority. But I felt, especially, it was a tricky game. I felt losing there helped us because we approached the game. We allowed them to have more possession and we hit them on the break. I think we learned from the fact that when we had more of the ball, it was so much harder to break them down because Wagner gets them well drilled. So I thought we played it well. We got out of there with a win. Big week coming up. I'd take a draw in Seville. But I think we can win. But right now, I'd take a draw. Yeah,
I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think obviously there's a lot of pressure kind of been put on us where obviously how the other English teams have obviously performed in the Champions League. And also I think, to be honest, because of, not to say we're following suit, but I think we do kind of need, just for confidence sake, for the fans, like I'll still be confident, but on a whole, like the way people are kind of reacting, I think we do need to kind of go in there and get a victory. Personally, I don't think a draw would be a good result, like a score draw would be a good result for us, don't get me wrong, but I think we need, like, we need to kind of, especially with the talent that we've got in reality, come on, like, Sevilla are a good team, don't get me wrong, but again, that's why I'm actually quite confident we will go over there.
Ben Yedder's a good player, but I think we got a good chance, and I haven't got that. What was the manager that got them to them finals?
One day Ramos or something.
Not one day Ramos. That was the old news. Recently, he moved on to, didn't he go to PSG?
Emery, was it Emery?
Yeah. Peter says, with Carrick retiring at the end of the season, which midfielder do you want brought in? Because we've got Carrick leaving. Well, retiring, he's not leaving, he's going to be a coach, potentially. Fellaini, possibly leaving. Herrera, possibly leaving. Could see a future for him in Spain, no contract signed yet. We need to get midfield reinforcements. Pogba's the only mainstay. The papers would like you to think otherwise. Pogba's the only mainstay in that team. We need midfielders. Who would you, if you could sign one midfielder? Peter wants to know, who would it be?
It's probably not a popular choice here, but I would sign Kante. Like, people would. I know people's gonna get at me on that, but like Kante for me, I think he's just that. Like, I think we would do nice if we had Matic and Kante and Pogba in the same midfield. I just think obviously Matic is.
It allowed Pogba to do so much more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think, like, as to me, when I see Kante, like, I didn't think before he was technically any good, but he's got a decent range of passing and that. He scored a banger against us. You know them ones. I'm not saying that obviously he's gonna come to bare goals, but I think he would complement Pogba.
Adam
so
said
well.
Fabinho. Sanjar said Decore.
Decore isn't. I like Decore.
Fosu Mensah said Dreadlocks Watson. Josh said Savic or Cruz.
Cruz, yeah. Obviously, if you can,
we're not gonna get.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's like saying I'll get Messi.
That's what I'm saying. You're not. Obviously, you don't. Like, if you can get Cruz, and obviously, but you're not gonna get Cruz. Like, you're not gonna get. Obviously, you could
Modric
get
should be my favourite.
Yeah, and that's like the same thing. It's like if you could get Modric, but you ain't getting Modric. So I'm not. Like,
Eric says Hamilton or McTominay future midfield. I don't think Hamilton's gonna really do anything just because he's on the bench. Don't get excited about that.
I don't know if
McTominay may have a future. Could be like a Fletcher or something like that. Stick around, be a squad player.
Yeah, I think definitely under Mourinho's always like tall, strong. Obviously
tidy in possession.
Yeah, like he keep the ball and that. And I just think his physical presence can kind of keep him around at United under Mourinho, to be honest.
Peter, who asked the question, said Kante isn't a bad call, but you don't think there's a chance he would leave. Rabiot says Alex Rudd.
He's neat. Rabiot.
Jadeem said I think Vidal is perfect for us. Maybe it's 2 years too late.
Yeah, I agree with it. Like if you get him when he goes to Bayern, then I think you take him. But
he's probably had one too many knee injuries since. Andreas Pereira. Someone said bring him back. Someone mentioned Fosu Mensah as well. I want to see Fosu Mensah involved with the team more next season, as do I want to see Axel Tuanzebe be involved more next season as well. Obviously he's not a midfielder. Emre Can's going to Juventus, isn't he? Someone says he's available on a free, and someone from Liverpool. I think he's actually a very good player, and I'm surprised Liverpool would let him go when they'd keep Jordan Henderson around. Find out. Milinkovic Savic is a big shout as well. He's doing very, very well in Italy at the moment.
Just touching on that, obviously your man said Pereira. What do you think of Pereira?
I was disappointed that he went to Valencia, although he's playing there. He's playing out wide. I don't think Jose really wanted to use him out wide, because whenever Jose Mourinho played him, he played him in the number 6 position. He played him deep in midfield. I remember that his first ever game for the club against Wigan, he played him there. And then in the summer before he moved to Valencia, he played him there. And I thought he had an opportunity to be a part of the team. Then you look at the injuries we got. Pogba was out. I know he's played more football, but I felt like him snubbing the option to stick around would have rubbed Jose up the wrong way. As for a player, I think he's a talent, but you can only really judge them once they've had a few games. Like it's hard. Like I've learned from past mistakes when I've thought players will definitely make it. Like I had so many favourites, Raval Morrison being one of them. Obviously he had his own reasons, and Giuseppe Rossi and all that. Pereira has the talent. He's a baller, but I think his opportunity may have just passed us, and we haven't even known it.
I just think with Pereira, I think technically he's proper. He's a tidy player. Yeah, that's what he's proper tidy. But I just think playing for United, I think you do have to kind of have that proper. You need to have some, especially as an attacking player, like flair about you, where like you're not gonna shrink in games, and like obviously not just referring to his physical height or whatever, but I'm just unsure whether because of his height could you do that in the Premiership where you can influence from like a number 10 or something, like could you?
I don't think he would. Like that's why I think Jose's been trying it, because he's tidy in possession. He keeps things ticking over. He would have been ideal next to Matic to then Pogba, here you go, take that, go. And I think he tried to, because I seen him when he played in pre-season, he played in that 6th position, 8th position, and then he played on the wide when he come on against Barca or Real. He's a baller, but I think his chances just. If we do lose Herrera, let's say Fellaini, and Carrick retires, Jose could bring in Fosu, Pereira, and sign 2 more, and still, we've still got space in the squad potentially, but I don't know. I don't think he'll come back. Do you think Fosu will come back and be involved?
Yeah, I think he's, from what I haven't seen that much of him at Palace, but from what I've been hearing, obviously he's been doing well, and obviously he was involved in obviously their turnaround. So I think, to be honest, I was kind of shocked when he went there, but at the time
because of the ball, it would made sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's I was thinking at the time, that's a decent move still. So it's like, because he's still in the Prem, and it's like you can kind of put not yourself in a shop window if you like, but people can then be made aware to how good you actually are. Not at United enough, so you haven't got the pressures at United.
I think Palace fans have been a fan of his. They've enjoyed watching him. I think he's been very good. Someone mentioned Verratti, ex-Stasio a lot of times.
I like him.
Of course, but PSG don't need money.
Apparently, obviously, I'm sure he's gonna go Barca. Like, I'm sure he's supposed to have gone in the summer, but I'm sure he'll end up at Barca. Verratti,
What is your number 1 defender target?
Again, is this like, are we playing like anyone who like?
Well, they said Alderweireld. Sorry, the comments moved.
I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't think there's that many top centre backs left anymore. Like, me personally, so I don't know who. Like, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Like, I like people probably won't like him, but I like the guy at Leicester at centre back. Is it Maguire?
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I do actually like.
Signed him on Football Manager as well, I must say.
he's obviously he's quite far off, but he's like Vidic, where like he put his head where people wouldn't put their foot, and I think obviously Bailly's kind of like that as well, but Maguire looks decent with his feet as well. To me, he don't look. He's a good player. So I think I've still got hope for Jones. I know it sounds silly.
I don't know.
They're
not
similar for me. Them two are similar players.
That's why I thought of him. I've still got hopes for Bay Rojo. I think we need one more. Twanzebe's comeback in would be great. But I do think we need a little bit more quality in that defence. And we need Luke Shaw to be playing more regularly. Koulibaly from Napoli, Marquinhos. Varane is injury prone, so someone must have suggested Varane. Smalling's time to move on to his rifleman.
I think if we do get another, if we get another centre back, obviously he's got to be higher than them in the pecking order. So obviously you could probably let one go. And I think obviously Mourinho again, he's quite good at getting business in for the club as well. Like I'm sure he's in terms of the deal. That's one thing I've liked about Mourinho as well is when we haven't been getting spanked for players. Yeah. Like when people are buying them off us, we're charging you a high fee. Whereas under like
I used to be jealous of Chelsea for that.
Yeah, like they got good deals for players, and it's like so. I think going back to the point about Small, I think he could get sold because I think he could. Someone will buy him. West Ham would buy him.
Arsenal would buy him.
Maybe like
no, they definitely would.
Like I think someone like who's got a lot of money. Like I mentioned West Ham, like they'll probably silly money for him.
Jay says Bay and Twanzebe, and I think that's a great choice. Maguire is too slow, says Jadim, and Af said is too inconsistent. Theo Hernandez, Isco or Fabinho in terms of midfielders. Don't see Jose buying another defender, maybe a fullback, says Nicholas.
I agree.
If Smalling sticks around in the first 11 much longer, I might have a nerve. He was better against Huddersfield, but in big games I do not trust many of our defenders, and that is a problem.
I think it has been a problem, but again, I was saying when we were talking about with Smalling last week that I think if we take our chances, I think that the emphasis gets taken off them anyway. And I think like going back to the United game, it's like it kind of showed with like when Lukaku straight away like bang changes the game. And that's kind of if we can do that more. Like again, I think we've got touching back on United. So if we can kind of just be killing or being lethal with our shooting and we'll put teams away early because they have to then change. It doesn't allow teams that comfort. Like
Jay Holiday. Right then, on that note, I need a leak and we need to wrap up. Thanks for coming through, Dean. We'll be back next week with another weekend wrap. What's happening next week? Oh, we got Chelsea on Sunday, so it'll be a Monday weekend wrap. Hopefully we'll be discussing a Manchester United victory amongst other things. Dean, before we go, give you a chance again for your final thoughts.
For me, it's a good weekend. Like, yo,
Wally of the week actually has to be VAR, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, they need to just
VAR Wally of the week. Who was your Wally of the week? Get it in the comments below. Dean is on Twitter at @_it's_D, which you can see on the screen. Follow him, subscribe, like, and share. We're out of here until next Monday when the weekend wraps back. And this month as well, we're going to get the first of our podcasts up as well. We still haven't had many name suggestions, so get a few through to us. Anyway, we're out of here.